What's going on, everybody? In this video I want to talk about, is Epic ruining their game? I want to wait a few weeks to see what they did with the mechs and what they did with Season 10 as a whole, but I feel as though it's a good time to talk about why it seems that Epic is purposely ruining their game to most of the community. Now, I know that they recently took back what they did with the building in the last update. They turned it back to 0.05 or 0.005 rather than 0.15 when placing builds. But if we look at what they stated, when a structure is destroyed, they will still be implementing a delay of 0.15 seconds before you could place another structure in the same location. Basically, they did not revert that change, so if you're boxed up, someone's shooting at you, you can still get hit by bullets, rather than before when it was nearly impossible to destroy that and hit you with bullets. Also, what they are implementing into the game is that if two players are trying to build in the same spot, one of those players will randomly be given that build and be able to build there. So essentially flipping a coin like they said in the last update. So even though they reverted the building a little bit, they didn't quite revert it all the way. So in this video, I wanted to look at their message about the mechs, what the community thought about it in general, all on Twitter. Same thing with the last few patch notes and what the community thought about it in general on Twitter as well. And then I want to look at their Google Trends, and I know that this isn't the best way to figure out who's playing the game, but Epic doesn't really release all their data, so this is the best way that we have of seeing how popular their game is and relatively how many people are looking it up and playing it. And I'm going to be comparing this to Minecraft, and the reason I'm going to be comparing this to Minecraft is because Minecraft has become very popular since Epic and Fortnite have started to decline a little bit. So we're going to be taking a look at that data and what it tells us. We're also going to be looking back at certain decisions that they've made, such as planes, the sword, boombox, cannons, and then we're looking at the mechs, how they slowed turbo building. We're going to see what they did and see what the Google Trends tells us around those times. Lastly, based on what we have discussed, we're going to answer the question, does it seem that Fortnite is beginning to die, or is this just a hiccup? So make sure to leave a comment after the video letting me know what you think of the current stage of Fortnite. Is it starting to die? Is it just a hiccup? Are they perfectly fine? Do you like what they're doing? Do you not like what they're doing? Leave a comment, let me know. So in their first message about the Brute, it came out on October 15th, and in this one they talked about that they wanted to provide a spectacle and entertainment while you're playing Fortnite. They go on to say how they wanted to give everyone a chance to get their first kill, first win. Essentially, what they're trying to say is that they want to reduce the skill gap. Then they released the data for the average brute eliminations per game, and basically what they said is that in solos there was about 4, duos about 7, squad about 6, team rumble about 6, arena solos and trios roughly 1. So with these stats in mind, I'm currently working on a video basically with all the nerfs that they've done to the mechs. I want to see if my data compares to theirs at all. I basically just want to see if they were bullshitting us or not, because if with all these nerfs, if I play a certain amount of games and on average the limbs are higher than what they gave us, then we know it's kind of BS, because with the nerf, the mechs are supposed to not be used as much. So if you want to see that video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, make sure you're up to date with those, and then you'll be able to see when the video becomes live for you. Now, when looking at what certain big names have said about their message about the Brute, there seems to be a consensus that either it shouldn't be in the competitive, or new players should have to grind like everyone else to get their first win or first elim, and it isn't rewarding to not grind and it just be handed to you. It's Jarian, who is a big YouTuber in the Fortnite community, posted that the average brute elimination statistic is disgusting. If bad players want to kill good players, then they have to earn it. They have to improve and struggle like everyone else, instead of you just giving them a brainless robot that can one-shot whatever it sees. Absolute garbage post. Now, I don't want to give my opinion just yet. I want to lay out all the different posts, give you a little comments from the community, and then at the end, I'll be giving you my opinion. So the second post, this one came on August 22nd, and in this post, they talked about several adjustments to the Brute and disabling the junk rift in arena and tournament playlist. So basically what their patch notes said about the Brute is that rockets fired decreased from 10 to 6, decreased the rate that they are fired by 56%, decreased the radius of explosion by 42%, increased the dash cooldown from 3 to 5 seconds, decreased the boost velocity by 33%. The Brute will no longer grant material to the driver and passenger, and they brought down the spawn rate of the Brutes in each storm phase. Now, all those changes are better, but where they kind of walk it back a little bit is that they also say that they will decrease the material costs of using the gunner's overshield from 200 to 75, and they increase the health of the Brute from 1000 to 1250. When looking at the comments on this post, there are some people who are still calling it for it to be removed. Some people are praising Epic for listening, and some people are saying don't praise them because they shouldn't have done this in the first place, and they should have even nerfed it if they're going to nerf it way earlier. For the most part, people still seem upset about the mech being in the game. There are a few videos out there, one in particular from Rody Bros, where him and that Denver guy essentially got a mech, went to retail, destroyed all of the monsters in order to get the good loot, and then they avoided fights until the end game and tried to win with the mech. If they couldn't win with the mech, they were full on mats. They had a bunch of gold weapons from retail, and basically they won 7 games in a row like this. And the whole reason that they made this video was essentially to show how broken the mechs were, how broken it was if you got those in retail and then you destroyed everything. Basically showing how broken and how easy it was to win games in Fortnite if you wanted to basically cheap out and use this method. Now, Fortnite's third post came on August 27th. In the patch notes, they made it so that you can see the Brute wherever it is, even if a player is in it. They created a new area with the rib zone in the southeast corner called Pandora. But what everyone is talking about from these patch notes was that Epic decided to slow down turbo building from 0.05 to 0.15, they said. The reasoning for this is to even out the playing field for players who don't have great ping. This doesn't seem like a huge change, but it's actually a bit slower than before, so when you're trying to place down builds, it messes up with your 90s, messes up with waterfalls, and this is what they said they didn't want to mess with, but they did in a way. And when looking at the comments, we see that there's a lot of tweets saying hashtag revert turbo building. Nate Hill, a top Twitch streamer and Fortnite player who went to the World Cup, said, blatantly disrespectful to anyone with talent or time put into getting better at the game. Now you just get shot through walls, feels like you're playing on 100+ ping, fixing an issue that doesn't exist, and purposely making the game feel slow and worse, the worst update in history. FaZe Dubs, another top player, went to the World Cup, as most of you probably know. Please just revert. This is going to kill your game. Hashtag revert turbo building. And FaZe Sway, a great player and a building sensation, built his name off of Fortnite and doing his crazy edits and builds. Literally no one cares, just revert the effing update. Now, in general, it seems as though Fortnite is killing their own game in the eyes of top players and most of the community based off looking at this post and then the comments under it. In the latest notes, they walked back some of their nerf to building, but not all of it. As I was stating earlier in the video, it's kind of a split reaction. Some people thanking them, some people saying, why are you thanking them? Just a big old mess. When moving on to their Google Trends, where they basically show how popular the game is as far as people searching it, 100 being the most popular the game has ever been, 50 being half as popular as that, 0 being there's not enough data. From this, we can see that about a year ago, Fortnite was at 100, Minecraft was at 18. So basically, Minecraft was 18% as popular as Fortnite was at the height of Fortnite. Now, this was in September of 2018, and slowly but surely, Fortnite began rolling out changes that were starting to nerf building, starting to make the community a little agitated. The plane, sword, and boot box were added around mid-December in Season 7. Cannons were added around late February with Season 8. The mech was added mid-July, Season 10. They slowed turbo building August 27th, Season 10. Now, these aren't the only changes that have been implemented that they've tried to slow the building and try to nerf the building in one way or another, but these are the most notable ones, and so these are the ones I wanted to kind of bring out. And looking at these, it seems as though Epic was intentionally trying to nerf their game, and let's be honest, they're trying to nerf building, which is the core mechanic of the game that made their game popular in the first place. So essentially they were trying to nerf their whole game, because let's be honest, if there's no building, Fortnite would be nothing special. It would be a third-person shooter battle royale, and it wouldn't be anywhere close to as popular as it is today. So as these patches rolled out, the game began to decline. People started to play other games, most notably Minecraft. As you can see, Minecraft started to gain popularity as Fortnite fell. Currently, their data as of mid-August, Minecraft is at 59, Fortnite at 31. So Minecraft is actually overtaking Fortnite as far as popularity with Google searches, people looking up different YouTube videos, looking up how to do this and that. So what this shows, if we look at it on decisions that they have made that are similar to the ones that they are making now, the community tends to turn on them. So if we look at what this shows, it shows that when they make decisions similar to what they're making now, the community tends to turn on them and look for other games to play. Simply put, these decisions have not been working out for them so far, and their game has slowly started to decline to where it is now, where Minecraft has overtaken it. So to answer the overall question that I said earlier in the video, based on what we've discussed, does it seem as though Fortnite is beginning to die, or is this just a hiccup? So my answer to that is that, simply put, it's beginning to die. Now, that is not to say that it will die anytime soon. I mean, if we just look at Minecraft, the game dipped for a long time while Fortnite was bursting onto the scene, but has slowly made a comeback, and now it's overtaken Fortnite because of Fortnite's, or Epic rather's, poor decision making. So what I think is that Epic are a few right decisions, good patches away from getting a lot of their players back and making the community happy once again, and making their game good once again. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think this will happen anytime soon. I think they will continue to make bad decisions. I believe the game will continue to dip for some time. The reason I can't say that this is a hiccup is if we look at the data and what the community is saying, this seems to have been a trend over the past year, and this game has only been extremely popular for about 2 years now. And if you're spending half that time trying to nerf the core game mechanic of your game and pissing off the community, it's not really a good thing, and people are going to continue to look for different games to play, like Minecraft. I know World of Warcraft just came out with their classic. They're going to start looking for different games. I know Call of Duty is going to start coming out. You know, Apex is still a big game. You spend most of the time trying to nerf your core game mechanic, people are going to look for other games. So with all that said, I hope that Epic decides to make some good decisions sooner rather than later, because this game is actually a ton of fun when it's done right. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see this game disappear. I think that it is a really good game. Hopefully they turn it around and make the game enjoyable again. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day.